honorable, honorable guest speaker, respected special guest, chair of the session, excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. On behalf of the Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies, may I take this opportunity to welcome you all to today's country lecture on From Malé to Dhaka, Strengthening Bangladesh-Maldives Bilateral Cooperation. Today, we are honored to have amongst us Her Excellency Shunin Rashid, High Commissioner of the Republic of Maldives to the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh as the guest speaker. We are also honored to have Dr. Niamatullah Bhuiya, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Expatriates, Welfare and Overseas Employment as special guest at today's program. Dear audience, today's program will begin with a welcome address by Major General Iftikhar Anis, BSP, Director General, BIISS. Then Associate Professor Muhammad Obaidul Haq from the Department of International Relations, University of Dhaka, will set the tone by speaking on Bangladesh-Maldives relation, revisiting bilateral relations and avenues of cooperation. This will be followed by the speech of our today's honorable guest speaker. Following that, the floor will be opened for discussion and contribution from the respected and distinguished participants. Following the open discussion session, the respected special guest will deliver his remarks. May I now request the session's chair, Ambassador AFM Gausal Azam Sarkar, Chairman, BIISS, to kindly commence the program. Sir, over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, Ms. Shunin Rashid, High Commissioner of Maldives to Bangladesh, Dr. and the guest of honor today, Dr. Niamatullah Bhuiya, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Expatriates, Welfare and Overseas Employment, Major General Iftikhar Anis, BSP, AWC, AFWC, PSCP Engineering, Director General, BIISS, distinguished presenters, participants, ladies and gentlemen, including media friends. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning and warm welcome to you all at today's country lecture event on the theme From Malé to Dhaka, Strengthening Bangladesh-Maldives Bilateral Cooperation. And indeed, we are honored to have Her Excellency Ms. Shunin Rashid, the High Commissioner, and also as a special guest, we are delighted to have Dr. Niamatullah Bhuiya. And we have distinguished presenters who are also going to speak. And you have already got the theme and also the order of the program today. The theme is basically enhancing bilateral cooperation with a country, friendly and brotherly country of the Maldives, with which we have historically very close bonds of ties. We have common experience. We have similarities of culture. We have complementarities in different fields, including social and economic fields. And we have common aspirations. We suffer in the common way. And we have enormous potentials to do cooperation and intensify cooperation for our development and progress. So on this, actually, we will be listening to the speakers and particularly the guest of honor today. And now I think without further ado, we start the program. And I now first request the Director General BIISS, to make his welcome remarks. Major General Iftekhar Anis, please.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Honorable guest speaker, Her Excellency Shunin Rashid, High Commissioner of the Republic of Maldives to the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Honorable special guest, Dr. Niyamatullah Bhuiya, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Expatriates Welfare and Overseas Employment. Respected Chairman of BIISS and Session Chair, Ambassador AFM Gausul Azam Sarkar. Dear participants, learned audience, and distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. On behalf of the Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies, I welcome you to the country lecture series titled From Malé to Dhaka, Strengthening Bangladesh-Maldives Bilateral Cooperation. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to the guest speaker of today and the special guest for gracing the occasion with their presence. Ladies and gentlemen, today's event is a testament to the long-standing and cordial relationship between Bangladesh and the Maldives. The ties between Dhaka and Malé, formally established in 1978 and rooted in mutual respect, cultural affinity, shared development aspirations, and a common desire for peace and prosperity in the South Asian region. Over the years, this partnership has evolved steadily, drawing strength from our shared memberships in organizations such as the United Nations, SAARC, the Commonwealth, the OIC, and the non-aligned movement. Despite the geographical differences between our nations, one being a deltaic country and the other a small island state, Bangladesh and the Maldives has had many parallels in their aspirations and challenges. Our development journeys are anchored in regional cooperation, people to people connectivity, and the shared need of resilience in the face of global uncertainties. The institutional collaborations and human resource partnership that have flourished over time, particularly in sectors such as health, education, construction, and culture, are living reflections of this shared journey. Distinguished participants, a notable feature of this relationship is the significant contribution of the Bangladeshi expatriate community in the Maldives. With more than 50% employed in the construction sector, they are a bridge of human connectivity and an example of how people from both countries contribute to each other's economic vitality. Yet, despite these ties, our trade volume remains modest. The potential, however, is immense. From pharmaceuticals and ready-made garments to leather goods, ceramics, jute, and river sand, Bangladesh has much more to offer. Similarly, Bangladesh is keen to learn from Maldives' expertise in areas such as marine tourism and the blue economy. We believe that today's event will offer valuable insights into how both countries can unlock this untapped potential through innovative strategies, direct transport linkages, and greater private sector collaboration. Tourism is one such area where Maldives shines globally. We hope that our tourism stakeholders will draw inspiration and practical guidance from the Maldivian experience to better develop our own capabilities and market visibility. Esteemed audience, it is equally important that we have our shared commitment to climate action. As two climate vulnerable nations, Bangladesh and Maldives stand united on the global stage to advocate for urgent and equitable climate solutions. From deep sea fishing to sustainable ocean governance and green energy cooperation, the possibilities are vast, and today's dialogue is a timely opportunity to explore them further. BIISS seems this country lecture series not only as an academic dialogue, but also as an instrument of public diplomacy, a chance to build bridges between policymakers, researchers, business people, civil society, and the students. We are grateful for the participation of senior officials from government ministries, the diplomatic corps, the armed forces, academia, media, and international organizations. Your presence and engagement are what enrich this platform and give it a value. Learned guests, we look forward to the lecture of Her Excellency Ms. Shunin Rashid, whose perspectives will surely illuminate many dimensions of the Bangladesh-Maldives relationship. We are also excited about the interactive open session that will follow, which we hope will generate ideas for practical cooperation and deeper understanding. In closing, I would like to express my sincere thanks and would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to our honorable guest speaker and the special guest for their kind presence today. I hope that today's deliberations will not only strengthen the ties between Dhaka and Mali, but also inspire new pathways for meaningful collaboration in the days ahead. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Director General BIISS, for your welcome address. We are now at this stage going to start the part of the deliberations of today. And at this point, I'll request Mr. Mohammad Obaidul Haq, Associate Professor, Department of International Relations, Dhaka University, to set the tone by speaking on Bangladesh-Maldives relations, revisiting bilateral relations and avenues of cooperation. Dr. Haq, please.
As I've heard that I've been tasked with setting the tone for the seminar today, I'll try my best to set a tone which will ensure an engaging and meaningful discussion. It's a real pleasure to be with you here today. And at the very outset, I'd like to thank Bees for this opportunity to speak on a subject of great significance today: strengthening the ties between Bangladesh and the Maldives. On the surface, our countries are very different. One is a riverine delta crisscrossed by hundreds of rivers, and the other, a stunning archipelago in the Indian Ocean. But when we look deeper, we see powerful commonalities. Both countries are vulnerable to the rising sea levels. Both depend heavily on external trade, and both are navigating a global landscape that is increasingly complex and uncertain. This is why our partnership matters. It is also why platforms like Bees and its country lecture series are so valuable. Since its inception in 2013, the series has been a space for deep reflection on foreign policy priorities. Today, I hope to contribute to the conversation by offering a keynote that is both grounded in fact and open in spirit, highlighting not just what we have achieved so far, but also where we can go from here. Our connection predates embassies and official visits. For centuries, sea routes connected by the Bay of Bengal and the Maldives. Traders, travelers, and even early seafarers from Bengal would cross paths with those from the islands. These early exchanges framed the backdrop for a more formal diplomatic relationship. In 1972, just after Bangladesh gained independence, the Maldives was among the first to recognize us. This was not a small gesture. It reflected a willingness to support a new nation in a difficult geopolitical moment. Formal diplomatic relations began in 1978, as we've just heard, and they have steadily grown stronger since then. Bangladesh opened its High Commission in Malé in 1998, and the Maldives opened its mission in Dhaka in 2008. In more recent years, we have seen a noticeable uptick in high level engagement. In 2021, multiple MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding or Memorandum of Understandings, were signed, covering areas like fisheries, diplomatic consultations, and cultural exchange. These were followed by agreements on labor, tax cooperation, youth, sports, and healthcare. Importantly, Bangladesh provided COVID-19 vaccines to Maldives at a crucial time. These are gestures of friendship, yes, but also signs of a growing partnership grounded in mutual benefit. Today, two institutional mechanisms help guide our cooperation: a joint commission chaired by the two foreign ministers and a bilateral consultation framework at the level of the foreign secretaries. Together, these provide platforms for dialogue, review the planning, and review the planning. While we have made significant headway, many areas remain underexplored. Take trade, for instance. The numbers are modest. In recent years, Bangladesh's exports to the Maldives have averaged around $6 million US annually, while imports remain relatively low, mainly comprising marine products. So, what's holding us back? Mostly logistics, the lack of direct shipping routes, limited port connectivity, and non tariff barriers like customs delays or differing technical standards. There's a solid base, but unlocking it requires better infrastructure and coordinations. Other sectors like fisheries, healthcare, culture, education, agriculture, security, and even prisoner transfer, they show promise. These breadth reflects the maturity of the friendship. But again, translating signed documents into lived realities remain the key challenge. Perhaps the most defining feature of our bilateral relationship is people, especially the Bangladeshi migrant workers in the Maldives. They number well over 100,000. The number varies from report to report, which is about 20% of the total Maldivian population. In sectors like construction, they make up nearly 90% of the migrant workforce. Others work in tourism, retail, hospitality, and healthcare. Their contribution is acknowledged at the highest levels in the Maldives. For Bangladesh, these workers are a vital source of foreign remittance, which helps maintain our current account stability, support household incomes, and reduce poverty. While hard data is limited due to informal channels like Hundi, the actual inflow is likely substantial. But let's also acknowledge the difficulties. A 2021 IOM report estimated that over 63,000 Bangladeshi workers were undocumented. Many arrived through dubious agents paying exorbitant recruitment fees, which can go up to $4,000 in cases, which pushes them into debt bondage. Others become undocumented due to expired short term visas or manipulative employers. Living conditions can also be dire, cramped, unsanitary, and unsafe. Workers often face wage theft, delayed payments, passport confiscation by their employers, and even verbal or physical abuse. Legal remedies are limited, and fear of deportation keeps many silent. To their credit, both governments have taken steps. The Maldives introduced new employer accountability rules in 2020. Bangladesh's High Commission actively assists with documentation and repatriation. The IOM is setting up a migrant resource center while the ILO works to improve migration governance. But this is not enough. We need to finalize the proposed MOU on labor migration, adopt rights based frameworks, and ensure fair recruitment. Ultimately, no bilateral partnership can be truly strong if its human foundation is weak. Beyond labor, our economic ties can and must expand. Bangladesh has clear export advantages, as has already been mentioned, in garments, pharmaceuticals, ceramics, leather goods, jute products, and processed foods. The Maldives depends on imports for nearly all consumer goods. The market is there. What's missing is connectivity and policy alignment. Let's consider three game changes. Direct shipping. Without it, we rely on third country transshipment, which increases cost and time. Number two, preferential trade agreement. Still pending, but could be a catalyst for growth. Double taxation avoidance agreement. This is already in place, came in effect from January 2024, but it needs wider awareness among businesses. On investment, there's scope for two-way flows. The Maldives could explore opportunities in Bangladesh's special economic zones, particularly in hospitality and grain tourism. Bangladeshi investors could consider construction, services, or IT in the Maldives. The blue economy offers further possibilities: fisheries, ocean energy, marine biodiversity, and conservation. Knowledge sharing, joint training, and tech exchange can drive this forward. Let us also not forget the soft infrastructure of relationships: education, culture, and human connection. More Maldivian students are now pursuing higher education and medical training in Bangladesh than before. Our universities are affordable and accessible, and the potential here is vast. Cultural exchanges through art summits, through art, music, film, and language can foster greater understanding. Scholarships, summer schools, and joint festivals could deepen ties at the societal level. And yes, tourism, while already a Maldivian strength, can become a joint platform. Bangladesh's coastline, the Sundarbans, the Chittagong hill tracts offer tremendous potential if supported by training and marketing partnerships. Both our countries are navigating a delicate regional balance. We maintain ties with countries like India, China, the United States. We are both active in IORA and committed to inclusive Indo Pacific cooperation. Platforms like SARC may be stalled, but BIMSTEC and IORA remain promising spaces for maritime cooperation, disaster risk response, and energy connectivity. While Maldives is not a BIMSTEC member, Bangladesh's active engagement in BIMSTEC and IORA offer opportunities of cooperation on maritime governance, disaster preparedness, and regional connectivity. Bangladesh's 2023 Indo Pacific outlook emphasizes peace, prosperity, and rules based order, also connectivity, values that align closely with Maldivian foreign policy. Let us be frank, our biggest obstacle is implementation. Too often, MOUs gather dust, commissions meet, but outcomes lag. In migration, labor protection, shipping, and even cultural cooperation, we see good intentions delayed by weak follow through. We must bridge the gap between policy and delivery through better coordination, stronger capacity, and full of promise. We are bound not just by proximity, but by purpose to thrive in a world of uncertainty by leaning on shared strengths. Let us operationalize direct connectivity by sea, ensure the rights and dignity of migrant workers, grow trade and investment through real frameworks, deepen collaboration on the blue economy and climate action, and above all, deliver on what we commit to. This journey from Malé to Dhaka and Dhaka to Malé is not symbolic, it is strategic, it is human. Let's walk that path together with resolve, with respect, and with results. Thank you.
For your very detailed and in-depth analysis, and also in your deliberations for your suggestions and identification of areas and sectors where cooperation could be intensified and where opportunities are there for a deeper cooperation. So now we have come to the stage where our distinguished guest of honor, Her Excellency Ms. Shunin Rashid, is going to speak and give her perspectives and the analysis and vision of our intensified future collaboration and cooperation. Your Excellency, please.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to be here today. And thank you, BISS, for this opportunity. And thank you, Professor Obadul Haq, for your very candid discussion on our bilateral relations. And you have covered most of the issues that I have highlighted in my presentation as well. Because I think the issues that you have discussed are also issues that are important for both our countries, and we need to work together to ensure that we find common solutions to this quickly. From Malé to Dhaka, our enduring bonds of friendship continue to grow stronger, with deepening interconnectedness across all fronts. Though our two nations differ in size and geography, we are united by shared values, historical ties, and a common aspiration for a peaceful and a stable, prosperous future. Our partnership has grown steadily across diverse domains: labor, tourism, climate action, defense, human resource development, trade. Today, I hope to reflect on our shared journey and explore pathways for even deeper collaboration. As mentioned by Professor Obadul Haq, our bonds of friendship predates much earlier than 1978, when we established formal diplomatic relations. And historical records and oral traditions show that our Maldivian seafarers and traders navigated the Bay of Bengal and visited ports in what is now known as modern-day Bangladesh. Economically, Bangladesh is becoming a promising trade partner for the Maldives. Our trade ties have expanded over the years, I would say, with Bangladesh exporting food items, pharmaceuticals, construction materials, and textiles to the Maldives, while the Maldives exports fisheries products, the primary export being fish meal and fish products. We are also trying to explore, trying to find more opportunities to export more fish-related products into Bangladesh as well. Despite steady growth, the potential for expansion remains significant. It's discussed here, a direct shipping link we also believe is crucial for this endeavor. The Maldives' strategic location and tourism-driven economy create growing demand for Bangladeshi goods, particularly in the construction and hospitality sectors. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's robust manufacturing base presents opportunities to diversify exports to the Maldives. Investment is also another promising area. The Maldives welcome Bangladeshi businesses, particularly in tourism, construction, and services. By streamlining procedures, boosting connectivity, and encouraging business to business partnerships, we can unlock tremendous potential for mutual prosperity. At the moment, there are 7 active foreign investments in the Maldives from Bangladesh, 2 in real estate, 2 in financial services, 1 in agriculture, 1 in tourism, and 1 in retail and wholesale. Tourism is obviously the cornerstone of the Maldivian economy. It contributes over 30% of our GDP and employs a significant portion of our population. So what we have noticed is that in 2024, more than 30,000 Bangladeshi tourists visited the Maldives. This is a 17.5% increase compared to the previous year. This reflects both the growing appeal of the Maldives as a destination and the expanding Bangladeshi middle class. To strengthen this momentum, we are prioritizing increased air connectivity between Dhaka and Malé. Currently, US Bangla Airlines is operating 5 direct flights per week, and we are hopeful that this frequency will grow. Maldivian tourism operators are also keen to work with Bangladeshi travel agencies to develop customized tour packages. The Maldives is open to share its experiences in sustainable tourism development, especially in areas such as island-based tourism regulation and service standards. Both the Maldives and Bangladesh are among the most climate vulnerable countries in the region. This shared vulnerability presents an opportunity to cooperate on sustainable tourism practices that prioritize environmental preservation and climate resilience. Bangladesh's experience in managing sensitive ecosystems, such as the Sundarbans, the world's largest mangrove forest and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, offers valuable lessons. Therefore, exchanges on such conservation efforts, alongside the Maldives' own practice in marine and coastal sustainability, could lay the foundation for deeper collaboration in promoting responsible and sustainable tourism across both countries. There's potential for collaboration in niche tourism sectors like coastal tourism, ecotourism, and the development of climate resilient infrastructure. These areas are important for both countries, particularly given their vulnerability to climate change. While tourism between Bangladesh and the Maldives is still in its early stages, the private sector could play a key role in enhancing collaboration. Joint initiatives between tourism operators, travel agencies, and hospitality businesses could facilitate mutual growth and increase market access, especially as tourism infrastructure improves in both countries. Another vital link between our countries is the presence of over 100,000 Bangladeshi migrant workers in the Maldives. These men and women contribute significantly to our economy and enrich our society through cultural exchange. The Maldivian government is committed to protecting their rights and welfare. As part of this commitment, we are at the moment implementing Operation Kurangi, which aims to regularize and document migrant workers through biometric registration. The deadline for this initiative is 30th April. We believe it will help address current challenges and ensure the fair treatment of workers. Bangladesh has also been a key partner in the Maldives healthcare and education sectors. Currently, about 65 Maldivian medical students are undergoing internships in Chittagong, gaining hands-on experience that will serve them well in our national healthcare system. Additionally, Bangladesh supplies affordable, high-quality pharmaceuticals that support our health infrastructure. Maldivian students also pursue higher education in Bangladesh, especially in medical and allied fields. These exchanges are essential for our national development, nurturing a skilled workforce equipped to meet future challenges. Looking forward, we aim to broaden our collaboration into emerging fields such as agriculture, aquaculture, and also into engineering. These areas are crucial for our food security, sustainable development, and climate resilience. We envision partnerships in research, technical training, and knowledge sharing that will deepen educational and development ties. Our cooperation also extends to defense and regional security. The Maldives and Bangladesh share a profound commitment to regional stability and safety. Our defense collaboration has grown to include maritime security, intelligence sharing, disaster response, and capacity building. The Maldives' strategic location in the Indian Ocean places it along the critical sea lanes of communication that connect the Middle East, Africa, South Asia, and Southeast Asia. These maritime routes are the lifelines of global trade, with over 80% of global commerce flowing through the Indian Ocean. For both our countries, uninterrupted maritime trade is essential for economic viability. Thus, ensuring freedom of navigation is enshrined in the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea remains a top priority. However, the Indian Ocean also faces challenges. Piracy, smuggling, illicit fishing, terrorism, and human trafficking pose serious threats to lawful commerce and regional peace. To counter these risks, enhanced maritime domain awareness, Coast Guard coordination, and joint naval patrols are vital. A future maritime security pact between the Maldives and Bangladesh, focused on collaborative surveillance and vigilance, could serve as a robust mechanism to safeguard our shared waters. In the realm of counterterrorism, both nations confront threats such as radicalization, transnational crime, and cyber vulnerabilities. The Maldives has to confront issues linked to the recruitment of foreign fighters, while Bangladesh has emerged as a regional leader in counterterrorism capacity and response. To strengthen our collaboration, we can consider establishing combined intelligence centers, negotiating extradition treaties, conducting joint cyber resilience programs, and implementing bilateral training exchanges between security agencies. Information sharing and joint operations, similar to practices adopted by leading international law enforcement agencies, can significantly enhance our ability to respond to domestic and cross-border threats. Climate-induced disasters offer a critical opportunity for enhanced security collaboration. Bangladesh has developed significant expertise in disaster response, particularly in managing floods and cyclones. This wealth of experience provides valuable insights for the Maldives as we work to strengthen our resilience against rising sea levels and increasingly severe weather events. As vulnerable nations, both our countries face ongoing threats to environmental security. Cooperation in this domain is not just beneficial, it is essential. In terms of capacity building, it is worth highlighting that Maldivian officers have benefited from training at esteemed institutions such as the Bangladesh Institute of Peace Support Operation Training and National Defense College. These programs have played a key role in enhancing our preparedness and the much needed skills for our officers. Our shared commitment to neutrality and multilateralism is another guiding principle. Both our nations value the rule-based order and recognize the importance of maintaining the Indian Ocean as a zone of peace. Looking ahead, a comprehensive Bangladesh-Maldives security partnership could rest on several pillars. The Maritime Security Pact that I mentioned earlier could enable coordinated patrols and surveillance in international waters, joint initiatives on intelligence sharing and counterterrorism, including shared databases, legal frameworks, and capacity building, and enhanced collaboration on disaster risk reduction, and also a commitment to peace in the Indian Ocean. Mentioned by Professor Obaidullah, in the international arena, the Maldives and Bangladesh are active and like-minded partners. Through our membership in the Commonwealth, we uphold shared values of democracy, human rights, and sustainable development, advocating for the interest of small island developing states and least developed countries. Within SAARC, we work together on poverty alleviation, regional connectivity, and climate adaptation. In IORA, our engagement continues to grow, especially in areas such as maritime security, trade facilitation, and renewable energy. Our shared efforts within IORA are increasing in strategic importance. On climate diplomacy, both nations have aligned their positions at international negotiations such as the COP process at the UNFCCC. We have consistently championed the interests of vulnerable states, advocating for ambitious targets, fair resource allocation, and effective support mechanisms for adaptation and mitigation. Our collaboration is further deepened through our active engagement within the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, where we stand united in our commitment to peace, justice, and humanitarian values. The cultural and spiritual bonds we share within the OIC framework not only reinforce our bilateral relations, but also strengthen our collective voice on global issues. This unity is especially evident in our unwavering support for the Palestinian people as we continue to speak out and act against the grave human rights violations and humanitarian injustices they continue to endure. As we look into the future, we must focus on several key priorities: expanding trade and investment through enhanced connectivity and business partnerships, boosting tourism through more flight options, curated travel packages, improving labor cooperation through fair and streamlined migration policies, enhancing collaboration in education in fields such as engineering, agriculture, aquaculture, advancing climate cooperation on resilience, adaptation, and clean energy, and deepening defense ties through maritime and disaster security initiatives. As I reflect on the journey from Malé to Dhaka, I'm reminded that the relationship between Maldives and Bangladesh is a testament to the strength of friendship built on trust, mutual respect, and shared aspirations. Ours is a partnership that has matured over time, rooted in people-to-people connections and elevated by purposeful cooperation across a wide range of sectors. As we look ahead, let us continue to invest in our people, empowering youth, supporting workers, fostering our knowledge exchange, and nurturing creativity. Let us strengthen the bonds between our institutions, our businesses, and our communities. Let us work forward with confidence, knowing that together we can shape a future defined not by challenges, but by opportunities we create through solidarity. As High Commissioner to the Maldives, to Bangladesh, I remain deeply committed to this journey of cooperation, of connection, and of common purpose. Together, let us write the next chapter in our story, one of progress, partnership, and peace. Thank you.
For your brilliant and very highly illuminating speech. You have highlighted the areas of our cooperation, ongoing cooperation, and also you have suggested different other areas where cooperation and collaboration are expected and possible. Indeed, very good perspectives you have given, and we are expecting in the Q&A session comments and also questions on our bilateral cooperation. So now we are going to open the floor in this segment of open discussion, and we would request you to intervene and also be very precise and brief. And would like to see more and more, higher number of interventions in this segment of open discussion. The floor is open. Yes, I see interest from yes, and then from the former naval officers and Ambassador Shamim Hassan and the lady. Yes, please, from behind.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the floor. I'm Dr. Nur Mohammad Sharkar, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science and Sociology, North-South University. So it was enlightening presentation. Both of the presenters have covered a lot of areas, and I'm enlightened by all this information. My concern would be like we have seen for the last few years there has been substantial change in terms of regional politics in South Asia, especially the countries like Maldives and Bangladesh and some other countries also. We consider they're actually pretty much contest in terms of what would be the sphere of influence on these states, either from regional powerhouse India and external power China, and to some extent USA also. So actually these countries are now trying to balance their relationship with these internal and external powers. So in this regard, my question to both the speakers would be like, do you think that these changing tendencies of foreign policy of this power would contribute to reclaim or revival of SARC? Because we need to revive this regional organization in order to have or harness common regional perspective or regional, let's say, improvements or regional reconstruction of trade and security issues. So do you think this kind of foreign policy postures, they are mutual cooperation, like we are talking about cooperation between Bangladesh and Maldives, how this kind of cooperation among the states within South Asia can contribute to the revival of SARC? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll listen to the ones who will intervene, and I think we'll come back to the distinguished presenter and Her Excellency for the answers. So now I give the floor to former Ambassador and Air Vice Marshal. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for giving me the floor. I'd like to thank both these speakers, particularly the professor from Dhaka University and High Commissioner, for giving us such a deep insight into the relationship that we have between our two countries. But I've got a very specific point which relates to climate security. Both of you have said that Bangladesh and Maldives are vulnerable to sea level rise. Now, when we talk about sea level rise, which means that our territorial integrity in future will also be at stake in terms of the dimension of its space. Now, what do you understand about the climate security? That it has got two components. One is the political component, the other one is the scientific component. So far the scientific component is concerned, I think these two countries can work together very closely, particularly in terms of developing this spatialization with regard to address the climate threat for the environmental security. And the concerned ministries can work together, and especially the universities can step into doing the research work. This is the scientific agenda, but the political agenda is a little more tricky. Because in that case, we have to gain funds from the international agencies to work for the research program that both of us will do. But that is extremely important. And my point is that we have done a number of MUs, but we have not done any kind of MU with regard to improving our relationship and trying to address the climate threat to both of us. So my question to Her Excellency is that do you feel the necessity of it, especially keeping in mind the political side or perspective that is persisting now in South Asia? And if so, how do we, move about it in order to address this existential threat to our two countries? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The floor goes to next to former Rear Admiral, please, and then Ambassador Shamim Hassan.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to thank the keynote speaker and Her Excellency the High Commissioner for enlightening us with the various aspects of our relationship. I have my privilege of having a diplomatic assignment to Maldives for quite a long time, 2010 to 2014. So from there, I can link up the points that have been covered. I recall, first of all, the recognition by Maldives in early 1972, particularly His Excellency President Gayoom. That was very, very special, despite all the oppositions he had to face in recognizing Bangladesh, and also the contribution of some of the students who were in East Pakistan at that time. And they, when they went back and they narrated their experience through the War of Liberation to change the opinion in the political circle. That was great. Now, regarding the relationship, thing first comes the employment. As mentioned, there are a good number of, the highest number of workers from Bangladesh, also professionals, the doctors and paramedics and all. It is a tricky issue, and probably it is now also recruitment is stopped for quite some time, as I was told. And I'm in touch with many employers also. They feel the difficulty and not having recruitment from Bangladesh. Now, these need to be sorted out because it is a preferred destination for the Bangladeshi workers to go to Maldives. And it is also very beneficial for the Maldivian employers. But it is shredded with various problems. Deep-rooted syndication extending to the islands of Maldives and the villages of Bangladesh is very difficult to deal. What I tried emphatically is to have the work permits certified by the Bangladesh High Commission through 4 years. Even with the presidential intervention, every time it was almost through, but the bureaucracy and the syndicate, they didn't let it happen. This certification voluntarily is done, but not as a matter of compulsory. And I wanted to introduce the Sri Lankan model for that, so that that can be can be introduced for get rid of the illegal things where both sides are involved. Is the syndicate deeply entrenched. Now, regarding our other fields of cooperation, the direct shipping link, it's Her Excellency also met our advisor. It's fashionable to talk on direct shipping link, but what I've seen is because of the nature of the shipping, we had fantastic link, as High Commissioner has mentioned, between Maldives and Chittagong, the port of Grandi, through the sailing age and very profitable business, particularly in those days. The cowries is a sort of currency for trading in the Indian Ocean region. That was one of the main attraction for the trade. So that shipping link was possible because of the sailing ships and wind and current facility. But it is now not possible because of the very nature of the shipping. The industrial revolution has changed the shipping, it has mechanized, and that's why it's a half port system. It has to go through a half port, and the cargo has to be available for both side of the trips. So that is not feasible. I didn't find it feasible through my all this deliberation because links has to be comprehensive, because in those days some researchers told me that not only the commercial goods, there were links between the royals of Maldives with the Bangladeshis, some of the royal families, they got married to the Bangladeshi ladies. And one of the queen, I think her name was Khadija. She was a very famous queen of the Maldivian history, who was, her distinction was assassinating her two husbands in 14th century to, maintain her power. So those were the links. So I think the innovation is required because it has to go through Colombo, and how that linking between Colombo and Malé can be made effective. Because I tried in those days, the potato was in plenty in Bangladesh. I got it through to the Bangladeshi businessman there. But after the potato was taken to Colombo, the potato was to be kept in the freezer there. So there again, there's a syndicate of business people from India and other places. Then how does the container flows from Colombo to Malé? So there, the Bangladeshi containers, they were the last to get in because of the competition. So that's how the thing did not make the profit despite the low prices that we have. So how to make this shipping link, hub-based shipping link effective? That should be the approach rather than direct shipping linking, which I didn't find feasible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Another point I want to make, because the relationship that we have, the deep sea fishing, that is an area we can cooperate. We have no expertise and we have no investor. This is an area can be seen. Another area is not much mentioned is the agriculture. The Maldivian, the fishing industry was the only industry once upon a time. Now the fishing has gone down to about 16 to 17% of GDP. And agriculture is equally up to that volume, 15 to 16%. And there's the contribution of the Bangladeshi workers. They have been taking the seeds and other things, and they have been cultivating there. So this is an area where we can cooperate. And lastly, the geopolitics. It's the half of geopolitics being close to the east-west trading route. And I've seen how the ugly face of geopolitics takes place in Maldives. So there we can cooperate. And also another point is on the counter-terrorism and radicalization. The jihadis, sermon and other are very common in Bangladesh and Maldives. The Maldives has a very good system of dealing with it. We should cooperate on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, the floor goes to Ambassador Shamim Hassan, and after that, floor will go to Professor Lailufar Yasmin of Dhaka University and Ms. Fatima, BUP.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to the Director General also for the invitation to this very important and interesting country lecture series. Let me also begin by congratulating High Commissioner Ambassador Rashid and the special guest who's yet to speak, but of course the keynote speaker who has really laid down very important points that come across in this particular subject. Yes, it's Malé to Dhaka, but I would have liked it to be Dhaka to Malé. I haven't made that journey yet, but I hear that this is one of the very enticing ones, and the High Commissioner said the tourists from Bangladesh are increasing. I think speaking after very elaborate comments, especially the last one from our former High Commissioner to Malé, I can be very brief. And let me start with the very foundational advantage that the two countries. I read somewhere distant neighbors and near minds. That's the adage which binds the two countries. And I think it is always a foundational advantage to find ourselves in that kind of historic perspective, but it is also equally challenging because of the distance to bring them to fruition. And that has come very clearly in the previous presentations. The High Commissioner himself mentioned. I think we are all prey to this spree of going through visits, going through consultation, but implementation being the key, remaining outstanding. And I think we have to blame ourselves for that. It's very, very important for anything that we do that we look behind in terms of covering the unfinished business of the last occasion when we tried to address the subject in question. And I think I will draw the attention of the Honorable Chairman and the Director General that let's start this. I have had occasion to talk about this. I'm quite sure we haven't spoken for the first time on a subject binding the two countries, Bangladesh and the Maldives. So the last time around when we spoke in this August House, what was the gist of the conversation and how far we have covered the ground? And that brings me to another thing that brings out our experience as envoys of each country. I have had the occasion to work with a number of very eminent Maldivian diplomats. And I think when we have the opportunity and the good fortune of being in close touch, I'm talking about ambassadors or high commissioner between the two countries, whenever possible, they should be able to check back on issues they have had the good fortune of collaboration. Where do they stand in their each other's capital? And I think this is being done in some ways nowadays, but it used to be a very important point in my days as well. I wanted to highlight that. The next point I would like to just touch upon is the direct sea link. I think much has been said about it. The only point that I want to make out is last year around November, and this is an issue which is in currency now because of a very recent event. The export from Bangladesh was rerouted through Maldives. This was an event which was in the realm of news. I expected that either the keynote speaker or High Commissioner Rashid herself would have touched upon this. Have we made really any progress in that rerouting? Because now it has become extremely important for a decision that has been taken very recently. The second area that I wanted to highlight is digitalization, which in my estimation, the Maldives have done very, very well. They have a ranking of 30 in the world in internet speed. We talk about digitalization a lot. We have been doing so. One area is tourism, which we have talked about, that we can collaborate in this and that fashion. But I think in digitalizing tourism sector particularly, there is something that we can collaborate because we are talking about enhancing our own performance in tourism sector, online booking, for example, cashless payments and all that, which make customer satisfaction key for tourism development, apart from joint programs like ecotourism, which High Commissioner Rashid herself mentioned. Human resource development, I think we have talked about it. One area that may be looked at is that, again, going back to our experience of working with each other, why not each other's diplomats are trained in each country. Foreign Service Academy is doing very well in inviting and training diplomats from other countries in the region and beyond. Conservation is extremely important. I just mentioned about tourism. Whatever we do about joint venture in tourism. I think if we're looking at Maldives, there is no escaping the fact that conservation and environmental protection will be key. So something that we are not very good at. So we have to learn from that. I will stop here. I think we have really enjoyed this presentation by High Commissioner Rashid and Mr. Waidul Haq. We would look forward to value addition in our mutual cooperation in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. I would request now Professor Lailufer Yasmin, Professor of International Relations at Dhaka University. Please.
Thank you. Her Excellency, it's always nice to see you and hear you speak. And also my, as we call Boro Bhai, Professor Ubaidul Haq is here. A lot of areas have been identified that Bangladesh and Maldives can cooperate. I have two specific areas that I'd like to point out. As my former student and colleague, Dr. Noor, sort of pointed this out as well, that the way Indo-Pacific is emerging as a strategic area of, as an area of strategic competition, and America's next strategic gaze is towards Indo-Pacific. So in this context, how Bangladesh and Maldives can align their maritime interests, enhance their maritime cooperation to respond to Indo-Pacific strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific region. And second one is that you must be aware that Bangladesh has joined the four-member Colombo Security Conclave last July, and now Bangladesh is a full-fledged member with, I think, Seychelles as the observer here. So what are the ways you think that Colombo Security Conclave can play regional sort of work on responding to maritime threats, which are in the areas that you mentioned: counterterrorism, disaster management, maritime security? So what are the ways that Bangladesh as a member can enhance the role of or the activities of Colombo Security Conclave? And as a whole, how can Colombo Security Conclave can work with IORA and such regional organizations to respond to the threats of the maritime domain in this region? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. I give the floor now to Ms. Fatima, Lecturer, Department of International Relations, BUP.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Fatima Tuzura, Assistant Professor, Department of International Relations, BUP. Good to see my teachers and Her Excellency. Good to hear from you. I was going to ask questions on like climate resilience research and climate fund, but the question was already asked. And another question or query was about the educational collaboration or exchange, because if I'm not wrong, there are 100 or 150 students from Maldives in Bangladesh. So are we thinking about any kind of collaboration or exchange, like getting more students from Maldives, or maybe students of fisheries or marine diversity or blue economy from Bangladesh, they can go to Maldives and see what is going on there? And we have like a wonderful island, Saint Martin's, which is not that much wonderful right now. So in terms of tourism, if we can learn something from Maldives, like how to manage that. And we also have other expertise in maritime fisheries and other things. So that was my question. Are we going through any kind of joint collaboration? Because all the things I have heard and read, it's more about recommendation that we should do it. But are we doing it, or do we have any joint project or collaboration? That was my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would like to give the floor now to Mr. Salahuddin Ahmed, former member of the ERC.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is Salahuddin Ahmed. I'm a storytelling volunteer for dementia patients and a trainer for the dementia caregivers. And of course, I was a member of Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission 20 years back. In fact, this is not a question. This is only a comment that I heard from Her Excellency, that the they are protecting rights and ensuring welfare of the poor workers, poor in all senses, of course, and they're taking care of this And I was surprised and happily surprised to know that, because these poor people, particularly the workers abroad, they're never treated fairly and let alone be respected. And the story is harsher, crueler in their own country. They're always maltreated like anything. And I heard about the bureaucracy and syndicates working hand in hand in bad missions, dirty missions. Why not good people work hand in hand in decent missions and be kinder, fairer to such people in all countries, not only in Maldives. Maldives can teach others being decent, kind, teach ourselves also in this. And this is only a comment, but this may pose a question to ones who are not doing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So at this round, we would now request Her Excellency Her Excellency and the presenter, Professor Obaidul Haq, to respond to some of the questions raised from the floor. Please.
Thank you so much. It was really interesting to hear your perspectives and your thoughts about the relationship between Maldives and Bangladesh, and also some of the specific issues that you are particularly interested in. And on the question one that we received, you were mostly interested to know about the revival of SAARC, especially given the changes in geopolitics in our region, I believe. So I don't think, I personally don't think there's much connection, because we, Bangladesh and Maldives, we have good relations, and we are we are founding members of SAARC, and we are both committed to the principles of SAARC, and we believe that SAARC is important and integral to regional peace, safety, and also regional integration. So therefore, I don't think both of us alone can do much. I mean, there are other players involved as well. There are 8 members of SAARC. So all members should be committed, equally committed to revive SAARC politically. Even though it is sort of on a hold at the moment, I know that at the political level, there's not much movement, but a lot of the technical work is ongoing even in the SAARC platform. So we are still committed, and we are ready to work with Bangladesh on SAARC revival. And on question 2, I think it was with regard to climate security. You are very right. We do have, we engaged with Bangladesh on a number of climate-related issues on international forums. Like I mentioned, even at the COP, we are trying to, try to ensure that the financing gap is, sort of like shortened, lessened. And but at the political level, individual country level, locally, we are sadly falling behind on certain issues we could possibly do. So I think it is really important, maybe perhaps explore MOU, or like explore something that we can do together to help each other with regard to climate security. And the third speaker, he mentioned, Ambassador, you mentioned a number of issues. And with regard to migrant workers, since a number of you have highlighted on that, I think it's important that I give you this sort of update on the issue. So the current government is really committed to sort the migrant worker issue that we are facing. Because at the moment, if you may understand, I mean, the Maldives population is around 500,000, a little over 500,000 maybe, but the migrant worker population is quite large. And from Bangladesh alone, we have more than 100,000 workers as well as people in the professional category who are doing a lot of work and contributing a lot for our socio-economic development. And as Professor mentioned earlier, also a large number of them are undocumented. So that's why the government is trying to ensure that all of them are legalized. So they are carrying out a process at the moment and a regularization process at the moment. So they're taking biometrics and documenting the migrant workers from all countries in the Maldives. And this process will end by the end of the 30th of April. So once this is done, we'll have a fair idea of exactly how many people are there and which areas that they have been working. This has been a major problem successive governments have been trying to address in the Maldives. So hopefully once this is done, we should be able to have a fair idea on where people are, on the number of people as well as in which areas that they're working, and we'll be able to better ensure and to compel employers to ensure that the workers' rights are protected and that fair wages are paid to them. So this is one process because that we are carrying out at the moment. So I wanted to brief you on that. And we have heard a lot on the importance of direct shipping linkages. And one of the speakers have spoken about, I think I think I will not address that. Have mentioned about the transshipment business, the transshipment and logistical business that is being carried out at the moment. In July last year, some Maldivian companies actually have started to explore the potential of route in some of the Bangladeshi products via Maldives to Europe and other countries. So they have established arrangements between certain airlines, Emirates and Turkish Airlines and Qatar Airways for transshipment, and some of these products are being rerouted at the moment via Sri Lanka to the Maldives. But the scale is a little less, obviously, because we don't have direct shipping linkages. So that is something that we can work on. But this is something that they have started, and they see the businessmen, they're saying that they see a great potential in this. And Colombo
Digitalization.
One of the speakers also mentioned whether that we should have more foreign service exchanges, and I think our diplomats, one of our diplomats have already she studied here at the Foreign Service Academy, and we hope that more diplomats will be able to come to the Foreign Service Academy and attend the prestigious programs that they have to offer. And in the Maldives, we have a very small Foreign Service Institute at the moment. It is very nascent, but we are trying to sort of like connect with our partners and trying to build the capacity of the institute at the moment. And with regard to Indo-Pacific, the prominence on the Indo-Pacific at the moment, I think I don't think our relationship is defined by our relations with other countries, because we have a unique, different connection between each other. I mean, Maldives and Bangladesh. So I don't think the change in evolving dynamics in the region, for example, would have much of an impact on our relations. So, with regard to Colombo Security Conclave, we were really happy that Bangladesh became a member of the conclave. So we think it is a wonderful platform for countries to come together and coordinate our positions, particularly security-related positions, because it's such a dynamic and so many issues are happening, so many things are happening in the Indian Ocean, like human trafficking, illicit drug trafficking, so smuggling. So we need to come together and to sort these issues. So it's important that regional platform is established, and we're really happy that Bangladesh is a member as well. And With regard to education collaboration, yes, we have quite a number of Maldivian students here here in Bangladesh. Most of them are doing their medical internships here. And at the moment, last year, the number was over 100, but at the moment, the number is around 65. And we are expecting more students to come as well to complete their internship. And there are a number of Maldivian students who are pursuing their MBBS and specialization here in Bangladesh as well. And we hope that we are also exploring how we can contribute from our side to Bangladesh too. Like you have mentioned, we would like to offer even training opportunities in the tourism industry as well, and even share expertise and know-how from our side, even on the fisheries sector. For example, Maldives is we have the knowledge and know-how when it comes to deep sea fishing. When it comes to aquaculture, freshwater fishing, Bangladesh has a lot of expertise. So I think there's a lot of potential for research and collaboration on these fronts. And so question 7 wasn't a question on fair treatment of workers. I hope I addressed your question.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your very brief, quick, and but very precise and very intelligent and insightful response to the questions. Now, we would request the main presenter of today's program, Professor Obaidul Haq, to bring in his part of response or comments.
Thank you, sir. I'll start with, I'll be very brief in my responses, but I'd like to start with Dr. Nur Mohammad Sharkar's question. In his intervention, I actually saw two separate questions. One is about SAARC, the other is about the strategy that that states like Maldives and Bangladesh should adopt to go about international relations. The second question is, well, this was actually his first question, is outside the purview of this seminar today. But I think I'd still like to very briefly comment on that. I think one aspect of our foreign policy or that we have not exercised for a long time is multilateralism. I think so balancing is one way of going about. The other thing is, well, multilateralism could also be another way of, balancing influences and pressures, however you want to look at it. Regarding SAARC, I do agree with Her Excellency the High Commissioner that these two countries alone may not be able to do much, but I think the circumstances have never been as conducive as it is today to at least begin the talk or negotiations amongst the member states regarding as to how we could go about reviving SAARC or so there are potentials about SAARC. Ambassador Air Vice Marshal Mahmood's question about the climate change, the political dimension, the scientific dimension. I'd like to comment on the scientific dimension. I think the problem is we cannot talk about cooperation in the scientific dimension between universities or researchers in Maldives and Bangladesh because we have very little idea about what kind of research is going on, in terms of on climate change or even in Bangladesh universities. We have very little information in the public domain. I mean, I'm saying this being an academic myself and someone who takes considerable interest in climate change, although not the scientific dimension of it, but we hardly come across any research that has been done on climate change. So I don't know. I mean, it can only be the demand has to be created within the universities and then between the universities, between Bangladesh and Maldives. So a conversation can start between the universities, how they could make collaborations meaningful in these areas, climate change research, scientific research. Rear Admiral Awal's intervention, yeah, I mean, better migration governance is something that Maldives is working on. And in this respect, I'd like to acknowledge the role of the think tanks, the research organizations that have worked quite extensively, both in Bangladesh and in Maldives. I mean, I myself was part of a research that was conducted some 2 years ago on this. And these sort of research and findings have created a pressure. You know, this research and findings and these think tanks, both in Maldives and Bangladesh, have worked as pressure groups to make this happen, better migration governance. So both the governments are now working on various dimensions of migration governance. Ambassador Shamim Hassan's comment on, yeah, I do agree with him. I mean, there have been spree of visits. They set the ground and then we don't see any follow-up. So I think to finish the business that the public offices, initiate. There's a need for the private sector to get involved. Without any meaningful interest. As also Fatima has also said that there's a big list of areas, as has been given by the High Commissioner, and also in my presentation I have expressed that the list is really big of potential areas of cooperation between Maldives and Bangladesh. So many sectors. But then the question is, who will bell the cat? Why is nothing being done in these areas? Probably there's no interest. There's no interest from the private sector, So one thing which is missing, I think, is studies, feasibility studies, information. Even to write a paper like this, we primarily have to depend on newspaper reports, op-eds, articles somebody has written on Bangladesh and Maldives. So if we take the long list into cognizance, I think, well, think tanks like BEES could also initiate this. And other think tanks could be, encouraged to take up studies on doing feasibility studies in each of these specific areas that we have mentioned in our presentations. That what feasibility of what benefit, what feasibility is there, what potentials are there? Are there really potentials as we are portraying? So I think involvement of the private sector is very important to make this, engagements at the public level successful. Digitalizing tourism. Who will do this? I mean, government cannot do everything. There has to be interest from the private sector. So either there is lack of knowledge or information, or even lack of awareness. They don't even know what's a benefit, what's a possible payoffs. So joint venture and conservation in other areas, we need to start the conversation in public domain so that people get to know about it. Then Fatima's comment on potentials of educational collaboration or collaboration in educational sphere. I think, one thing that she has mentioned is very interesting, specialized education, so this is also something that we need to be able to market in a better way, in a smarter way, promotions and brandings is important, even in higher education. I mean, it's seen as something very positive. Even public universities in the West, I've seen this myself in America, in England, also in Australia. I've seen that, they have managers, public universities have got brand managers, they promote. So what is there on offer for the Maldivian students, those who'd like to pursue higher education in Bangladesh? So yeah, joint collaboration is possible. So I'll stop here. If there's more question, thank you.
Thank you indeed. We have now come to the closing part of this seminar. And at this stage, we would be listening to the special guest, Dr. Niamatullah Bhuiyan, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Expatriates Welfare and Overseas Employment. You have the floor, sir.
Presented. Doctor. Thank you. Actually, our prescribed topic today is from Malé to Dhaka. But I'm gonna tell you something also about Dhaka to Malé. This is what I actually prepared myself to tell. So, respected Chair, Her Excellency, the High Commissioner of Maldives to Bangladesh, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Marhaba. This is for Her Excellency. Marhaba and warm greetings and a very good morning to you all. It is an honor and privilege to address this esteemed gathering on a topic of immense significance. Since 1978, Bangladesh and Maldives have shared a warm and cordial diplomatic relationship. Over the years, our cooperation has expanded across multiple sectors, including trade, education, healthcare, human resources development, and the employment of Bangladeshi workers. At first glance, our nations may appear vastly different. Bangladesh, a bustling deltaic powerhouse with a population of over 170 million, and the Maldives, a stunning island nation renowned for its pristine beaches and thriving blue economy. Yet, beneath these differences lies a deeper truth. Bangladesh and the Maldives share common aspiration, face similar challenges, and are bound by an unbreakable spirit of regional solidarity. Water has shaped both our histories. The mighty rivers of Bengal and the Maldives coral reefs, the seventh largest in the world, define our landscapes and livelihoods. But beyond geography and history, what truly unites us is our shared vision, a future built on peace, prosperity, and sustainable development. Our friendship is more than just diplomacy. It is about the lives we touch, the communities we uplift, and the future we shape together. However, we must not ask ourselves, how can we elevate this partnership to new heights? I believe there are 5 strategic areas where our collaboration can be truly transformative. First of all, promoting welfare and empowerment of migrant workers, expanding trade and economic ties, strengthening tourism and cultural diplomacy, combating climate change together, as we have discussed earlier here, enhancing maritime security and regional stability. By strengthening our cooperation in these key areas, we can pave the way for a stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous future for both of our nations. Let me now turn to a crucial aspect of our bilateral cooperation, promoting the welfare and empowerment of migrant workers, a shared responsibility that lies at the heart of our people-to-people ties. Cooperation on human resources between Bangladesh and the Maldives has grown steadily since the 1980s, beginning with informal labor migration to support the Maldives' expanding tourism and construction sectors. By the mid-2000s, Bangladesh had become one of the top labor supplying countries with over 30,000 workers, both documented and undocumented, contributing to the Maldivian economy. The enactment of the Maldivian Employment Act in 2008 and a regularization program in 2012 marked key efforts to address irregular migration and improve workers' protection. By 2015, the Bangladeshi workforce had grown to an estimated 70,000, prompting discussion on a formal bilateral labor agreement. During the COVID-19 pandemic, over 5,000 Bangladeshi workers were repatriated through coordinated humanitarian efforts. Today, we mark an encouraging milestone. The number has risen to 122,165. Bangladesh and the Maldives have strengthened bilateral ties through several key MOUs. In February 2021, they signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, on labor cooperation, addressing workers' recruitment and regularization. During His Excellency President Ibrahim Mohammed Solih's state visit to Dhaka in March 2021, 4 more MOUs were signed, including one establishing a joint commission on comprehensive cooperation. In December 2021, additional MOUs focused on healthcare, workforce, recruitment, and renewing medical cooperation, making deeper sectoral engagement. Nonetheless, this exists a promising opportunity to further enrich and strengthen our bilateral ties for mutual benefit. While the human resources partnership between Bangladesh and the Maldives has become a cornerstone of our bilateral relationship, several persistent challenges continue to limit its full potential. These issues affect not only the well-being of workers, but also the effectiveness of our labor mobility and cooperation between the two nations. Addressing these challenges is essential for building a more transparent, humane, and productive labor framework. The key challenges include a significant portion of Bangladeshi nationals working in the Maldives remain undocumented, with estimates suggested they make up nearly half of the total Bangladeshi population there. These workers often enter the country through informal channels, making them more vulnerable to labor exploitation, deportation risk, and exclusion from legal and consular protections. Their undocumented status also complicates workforce planning and bilateral coordination and cooperation. Many Bangladeshi workers are recruited through informal networks and unlicensed agents, resulting in fraudulent contracts, excessive migration fees, and in some cases, labor abuse. The lack of oversight in the recruitment process undermines efforts to promote ethical labor mobility and creates reputational risk for both countries. Although the demand for skilled labor in sectors like hospitality, healthcare, and construction is rising in the Maldives, many Bangladeshi workers lack industry-specific training and the language proficiency in English or Devehi. This mismatch reduces our productivity, limits upward mobility, and restricts opportunity for Bangladeshi workers to transition into higher skill role. Many Bangladeshi workers in Maldives, especially those in a remote island and undocumented status, have limited awareness of their rights and inadequate access to legal aid or consular services. This leaves them vulnerable in cases of abuse, workplace accidents, and legal disputes, and weakens the protective safety net that a strong diplomatic presence should provide. To unlock the full potential of human resources cooperation between Bangladesh and the Maldives, both countries must shift from reactive management to proactive, structured, and engagement. A forward-looking approach should prioritize ethical recruitment, skills alignment, and the welfare of workers as shared responsibilities. Strengthening this partnership will not only benefit the economies of both nations, but also enhance regional labor governance and South-South cooperation. The following steps offer a realistic and strategic path forward is the following. The foundation of a modern labor partnership lies in a formal government agreement that clearly outlines recruitment protocols, worker rights, dispute resolution mechanisms, and responsibilities of both sending and receiving countries. Concluding an MOU would institutionalize cooperation, reduce irregular migration, and pave the way for long-term workforce planning based on mutual needs. Both governments should collaborate to regulate recruitment agencies, introduce digital labor migration systems, and enforce zero tolerance policies for exploitative practices. Bangladesh can strengthen pre-departure orientation and licensing of agencies, while the Maldivian can implement a centralized approval system for foreign workers permit, ensuring accountability at every stage. Bangladesh's technical and vocational education and training program can be tailored to match the demand in the Maldives for skilled workers in sectors like hospitality, healthcare, electrical work, and IT. Joint skill certification, language training, and recognition of qualifications will enhance employability and professional mobility for Bangladeshi workers. A dedicated joint working group on labor issues could be established to oversee the enforcement of labor rights, improve access to grievance redress mechanism, and coordinate workers' welfare initiatives. Increased cooperation between consular office and local authorities would help monitor workplace conditions, and support vulnerable workers, including those in remote islands. Invest in digital platform and data sharing, leveraging digital tools can greatly enhance transparency, coordination, and service delivery. A shared digital database of workers, integrated visa and permit system, and mobile-based grievance redress tools would help manage labor flow more efficiently, reduce fraud, and support real-time monitoring of workers' condition. The Bangladesh-Maldives partnership goes beyond labor migration. Both nations face similar vulnerabilities and share common aspirations. Climate change, for instance, affects both our deltas and atolls, while regional stability and maritime security are key concerns for both nations. Additionally, the potential for the blue economy offers exciting opportunities for cooperation. The welfare of our people, especially our migrant workers, must be at the heart of the broader cooperation. By investing in their well-being, we invest in the future of our partnership. The journey from Malé to Dhaka is not just a geographical route. It is a pathway to share prosperity founded on dignity, justice, and mutual respect. Let us walk this path together. Governments, businessmen, civil society, and most importantly, the people who form the backbone of this relationship. In honoring our expatriate communities, we honor the very essence of our shared values. By protecting their rights, we safeguard the soul of our partnership. Through empowering their potential, we light the path to a brighter tomorrow for both nations. In closing, I offer these humble lines as a tribute to the enduring friendship between our two nations. As Her Excellency is a lover of poetry, that's why I am giving this one. Let the rivers meet the ocean tide, where dreams of both our nations glide. Hands that build and hearts that give. deserve the dignity and nobility to live. With shared conviction and honest care, let's build a future strong and fair. Thank you once again for your attention and for your commitment to the enduring promise of Bangladesh-Maldives relationship. Thank you all.
Thank you indeed. Our special guest today for your very insightful remarks and for highlighting the avenues of cooperation and also suggesting some of the solutions to certain issues. Thank you indeed for your kind participation. And I'd like to make few remarks at the closing. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, we have come to the end of a very exciting and very insightful seminar, and the justice has been duly done to the subject, and all aspects of our cooperation and partnership that have been highlighted have been touched, in fact, both by the presenter and the guest of honor and the special guest, and also by the participants and those who have intervened from the floor. So it was indeed a comprehensive discussion and deliberation that have enlightened us on the areas, sectors, and segments of cooperation. Some of them are ongoing and some need our bilateral and regional and international attention to carry on and to take ahead. Trust areas of cooperation that have been touched upon are trade and investment, then connectivity and logistics, infrastructure, tourism, services, blue economy, climate change, education and cultural cooperation through the soft infrastructure development, institution to institution and people to people contact and cooperation, joint studies and all other supportive activities and programs, MOUs, agreements, joint commission discussion and consultations on regular basis, policy alignment, and working in different regional and international fora like CVF, IORA, and others. Area of IT, defense, and other areas of maritime and security, studies, and all those. So wide range of cooperation and partnership have been identified and highlighted. What need to be done are sustained mechanisms, and through those mechanisms, sustained efforts, bilateral and in the framework of regional international fora, the cooperation and cooperation particularly at institutional and people-to-people level And very important in that area is the participation of the private sector and the institutions and the people of the two countries, because they are the movers and they work in the field on the ground. So it is very important. Of course, the regulatory support and framework supports would be given by the two countries, and also support would come through regional frameworks and international organizations and fora. So what is needed is political will and also the different relevant stakeholders in the governments of the two countries and also in the regional and international fora to come together and carry ahead the agenda of cooperation and partnership. So indeed, we are very thankful to you. Particularly, we express our gratitude and thanks to the guest of honor today for making her time and making her very valuable and important deliberation. And we thank the special guest for sparing his time and coming here and to share his thoughts and suggestions with us for the cooperation and collaboration we discussed. And we thank you, the participants and the distinguished guests who are present here in this hall, for your contribution and also your suggestion and recommendations, and also for your questions, raising the valid and relevant questions, which our presenter and our guest of honor have eloquently and very relevantly responded to. And at the end, I thank my colleagues, the Director General, BIISS, and also other colleagues from BIISS for organizing this program and for making excellent arrangements and for making this successful program to happen. Thank you indeed, and thank you all. I close the seminar with this, and there are some few formalities, and we invite you to the lunch afterwards. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for your patience hearing. At this juncture, now I would like to request our honorable guest speaker to receive a memento from the Director General of the Institute. From the DGBISS to today's guest speaker, Her Excellency Shuinen Rashid.